in physics. And now, going back to what our motion is now. If a body is moving from, let's say you are traveling from Akure to Ado, normally it will take you like an hour. If two people start at the same time and one is moving faster with a velocity of 60 kilometer per hour, another person is moving with 100 kilometer per hour, we'll find out that the time with which the person moving with 100 kilometer per hour is shorter in getting down to Ado Ekiti. So now it has to do with the speed or the velocity. The speed is just giving us the value, but the velocity tells us that it's going towards Ado Ekiti. So now, what is speed? We now say that speed is distance divided by time, which means the rate of change of distance with time. But in direction, now we don't call it speed, we call it velocity. And velocity is the rate of change of displacement with time. This time around, I didn't make use of distance. I talked about displacement. Now, what is the difference between distance and displacement? Let's look at it in this way. From point A to B, if I move down there, it could take me in one direction. I just move from here to this point. So 5 kilometers. So the distance I've walked is 5 kilometers. Let's say I move from point A to point B and then I return back to point A. Thus I walk another 5 kilometers in opposite direction. This is actually telling you that my displacement is 0 because I'm still back at the starting point. So if you subtract my first 5 kilometers I walk towards point B and then moving back to point A the same 5 kilometers, then the displacement becomes 0. And if I walk 2 kilometers away from B, I didn't get to A, 2 kilometers away from B, then my displacement is 3 kilometers because from point A to where I am presently is just 3 kilometers. So it means that whenever you're solving problem in physics, you need to know if you are dealing with scalar quantity or vector quantity. Now, there's a man who really did well on this motion. This man is called Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton gave 3 laws. He has the first law, the second law, and third law of motion. So we call them Newton's laws of motion. So the first law states that a body will remain in a state of rest or uniform motion unless it's acted upon by an external force. What this means is that if a ball is sitting at this point, the ball will remain there till everlasting if nothing pushes it. So what can push it? Maybe you can kick it, applying the force, the wind can blow, anything can happen. Then it will move from where it is. But if nothing touches it, it remains there permanently. That is why we say that a body will remain in a state of rest or uniform motion unless it's acted upon by an external force. So what do we mean by uniform motion? Take for instance, especially the drivers, when you're driving your car and you get to a slopey area or a level ground, you decided to turn off the ignition of your car and then you are not accelerating, you find out that your car will continue to move at a constant speed. It will remain at that speed unless you apply brake. That is the force you apply before it can stop. Sometimes it stops after a while due to the frictional force between the tires and the road. So now the reason why you see your car slow down is because of the frictional force that is between the tire of the car and the road. And this frictional force always opposes the motion of a body. So if the body is moving towards a direction, then the frictional force is trying to pull it back. That is why the frictional force is always acting opposite to the applied force. So that's the first law of motion. Now let's talk about the second law of motion. The second law of motion states that the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied. This is what will now lead us to the dynamics in physics. That is, we need to apply what is called forces. So now, the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied, which means that our F is equals to mv minus u over t. So remember, when I define velocity the other time, I said it's the rate of change of velocity, rate of change of displacement with time. There is what we call acceleration, which is the rate of change of velocity with time. So if you look at this v minus u, our v means the final velocity, and our u means the initial velocity, that is the velocity before you start moving, or the velocity at zero, or from uniform velocity, then you increase your speed, that is when you accelerate. So the u is the initial one, and the final one is the v. So if you look at m into v minus u divided by t, you will see that v minus u over t is the same thing as acceleration, that is the rate of change of velocity with time. So we can write our f to be ma, where our a is the acceleration and our m is the mass of the body. So I can actually know the force that is applied. If I know the mass of a body and the acceleration with which I'm moving, I can know the force that is applied on that body. So that gives us force equals to mass multiplied by acceleration. So we have a lot to deal with concerning this topic, and since we have little time of ourselves here in on this program, we hope that next week when we continue to move on and start to give us this equation of motion we can use to solve problems concerning motion in physics. Once again, this is Carlspat Private School. Learn with us here on radio station, the Adami Mogo 107.7 FM, here located in Ido-Ekiti. We take this opportunity to tell you that admission is also ongoing in our school presently for the first term of the 2024-2025 academic session. So if you want a best education for your child, we gladly want you to come and register your child for this new session. And also, as much as we have our good teacher, we still look more to employ more staff who are dedicated ones, who wants to grow, and then there's facility for them to grow in their academic careers. God will continue to be with each one and every one of us as we're going to meet again next week by God's grace. Don't forget to follow us on this program. If you want to reach on to us at the school, you can reach us at the school compound, the environment there. That's the old Iromokeye Water Factory, Ido-Ekiti, along Ora Road. Also, you can call us on the number 08067281676. Once again, 08067281676. Don't forget, if you have any problem, you can drop it in our chat box and then we can solve your problems for you, as long as it's about education. God bless you. God bless Carlspat Private School. God bless Adami Mogo FM. Thank you.
Private School Ido-Ekiti is inviting parents and guardians in Ekiti and its environment. Good news! Carlspat Private School Ido-Ekiti is inviting parents and guardians in Ekiti and its environment to enroll their children in a school where their kids can get the best learning experience. At Carlspat School, we have modern facilities, neat classrooms, a technological-driven school, conducive learning environment with dedicated and qualified teachers. Our high academic standard will make your kids stand out. We are committed to your child's development and well-being. Try us today and you will surely thank us for nurturing your kids' love for learning. Admission is still on at Carlspat